Hello and welcome to Wheel Thing TV. I'm Dave Knoll, and in this week's episode we're checking out the Proton Preve. It's a little sedan with a 1.6 litre turbo engine connected to a constant variable transmission. In profile, the Preve has more than a hint of Honda plus a little dash of Mazda 3 about it. At the front, definitely a Honda influence as such. Kind of like a Civic from the last couple of years. At the rear you can see it still has that Honda influence with the scallop coming down from the taillights and a nicely integrated little lip spoiler as well. Preve is not without its niggles. It's a push button start but requires the key to be inserted into the slot. And the thing is, you can't just push it in one go, it has to be pushed in twice. I'm not really sure why that's the deal, but it's just pointless and it's annoying. Preve don't do what everybody else does when you hit the start button. Everybody else has their dials flicking around. These guys just, well, let the tacho do the job. It's a comfortable, functional interior, but it's nothing special. It's old woven style cloth. We've got the fake wood grain on the doors and on the interior. It does the job, but it's not exciting. Rear seat room is reasonable for most adult passengers. It's claimed to be a 5-seater, and it's certainly not far off the case with the amount of seat room that there is. As you can see, it's got a decent sized touchscreen to it. It looks quite nice. This is a Blaupunkt unit compared to a different brand that's fitted to the Suprema hatch. Aircon controls are about as basic as you're going to get, but they are functional and efficient. Gear change, well, it feels old, it feels tired, and this is a brand new car. It's just something that other brands have left behind, and it just feels clunky. It does have a CVT, constant variable transmission, with 7 pre-programmed gears into it, so you can actually do it as a manual change regardless. And of course it does come with what Jeremy Clarkson would call a flappy paddle gearbox. Well, on an open road the Preve handles quite well. The Lotus suspension soaks up most of the lumps and bumps. The 1.6 litre turbo engine, it's got a reasonable amount of torque, just over 200 Newton meters from 2000 to 4000 RPM, going through a constant variable transmission that's pre-programmed with 7 gears. It goes reasonably well. It's not the quickest thing on earth, it never will be the quickest thing on earth, but it's linear in its delivery and it's very progressive in the way that it puts the power down through the front wheels. Handling is very tight, it's very direct in the steering, which is a great thing. It's not loose or sloppy, and it enables you to have a better idea of where the car's going compared to where other cars might think, oh, I'll turn here eventually. It's quite nice in that respect, and I think it's one of the better aspects overall of the Preve. The CVT box does have a bit of a noise to it, a bit of a whine, a bit of a moan, and underway sometimes you can feel it not really sure what ratio gear it needs to be in. You can feel it juddering and shuddering, and sometimes moving from parking to drive it does tend to think about it a while, and even into reverse. It's not the most comfortable of boxes to drive, and it lacks a whole lot of refinement. There's not a lot to dislike about the Preve, and there's not a lot to love either. It's a good car, it goes reasonably well. It has a few niggles with the engine ignition system in that sometimes on a coolish morning, normal fuel injection cars just start and away they go. This one starts, stops, stutters a little bit, it's not really sure, not terribly convincing. On the road it handles quite well. It's got this Lotus tuned suspension and it really does go around corners quite nicely, and in this case it doesn't have the Continental tyres that the Suprema hatch does. It's got some pretty wide contact tyres instead. Really does a very nice job of handling. It's a little bit firm at times, but it will absorb most of the ordinary bumps and lumps on the road quite nicely. I'd like to say that it's going to be a great car one day, and it certainly has that possibility, but what Proton need to do is look at what Kia and Hyundai and a few other brands are doing and start to try and step up to there. For Wheel Thing TV, I'm Dave Knoll.